All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Abir. I'm industry engagement specialist for IEEE corporate activities, and I'm happy to have you here today with us at as part of the series of workshops that we are doing for the IEEE Career Fair. I'm here with Yousra Magouri. She's our speaker today, and she will be talking about using AI tools in job search and career development. I have a quick intro for Yusra, and I would like to share that about her. She is a CRM and MarTech leader with over 18 years of experience delivering innovative marketing technology solution at global companies, including Expedia Group, Salesforce, Microsoft, and eBay. She currently leads CRM engineering at Expedia, where she spearheaded the development of UMP 2.0 and launched a Gen AI-powered support chatbot. Yousra also is recognized mentor for the year of 2024, and she's also a Tunisian diaspora a female leader for the year of 2023. She's passionate about mentoring early careers and young professionals globally. She also the founder of Open Minds Project, a nonprofit organization empowering uh, youth and women in North Africa through education, mentorship, and community-based program like Elevate Summit and Woo Mentoring Global Experience. Without further ado, thank you, Yusra, for sharing your expertise with us. This is not new. You always answer when we call you, and I'm really excited to have you here. And I'll let you go ahead and start. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Abir, for the intro. Excited to be with the IEEE community today. It's always a pleasure to connect and collaborate with the IEEE family. One thing that I'd like to add that I lead Open Minds Project, and it's focused on mentoring, giving back, youth development, education, women empowerment. So a lot of the programs that I lead and I develop for the purpose of growing and connecting the community. I'll start by sharing my presentation here. Share screen. I'm going to share my entire screen because I'm going to be navigating through different windows. It's not letting me do in that. Chrome. Okay. So let's see that. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go into a presentation. I'd like for this session to be a little bit interactive. I don't have visibility if there are any questions, so Javier, you let me know. I don't know if this is going to be open for questions at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Toward the end, or if you are doing interactive questions, they are able to answer and interact with you through the chat, and I'm happy to help with that as well.
Excellent. So this session is going to be focused on how to leverage AI tools for career development and job search. And I feel like with the AI and development and every day there is like something new, a new development. OpenAI just launched their own browser. So that's like, I haven't tested it yet and I'm going to have to do it this afternoon. So really, with the AI landscape and all the development that are happening, the one thing that like the mindset that everybody should acquire is like, okay, I'm going to be aware of what's happening and take the time to test and make your own judgment for all the tools and the things that are being developed. Well, the cool thing about AI is that it can be leveraged in so many things. And I personally used it to do gardening projects, remodeling inside the house, career development and job search, as well as so many other projects. And what I want to walk through today is some kind of like basics of how to leverage AI and how to think about AI in your career, not only if you're searching for an opportunity right now, but just to be ready to enhance your branding, your LinkedIn profile, create a development plan, identify if there are any gaps in your profile or things you'd like to work on next. So, what I'm going to walk you through is the things I'm going to cover is resume optimization with AI, LinkedIn profile enhancement, interview prep, which is my favorite, personal development plan, career shift, and skill gap analysis. And we can cover some questions toward the end, but um, I and Abir, you can feel free to interrupt and ask me questions as I'm going through the presentation. Because when I presented this last time, it was kind of like a workshop, and I had like the audience interact and actually share screens and stuff. So let's get started. Abir did a great job introducing me. I live in the intersection of tech, CRM, and social impact. And I'm really super passionate about mentoring, supporting youth in their careers, and building programs that can create long lasting impact. Um, Before we dive in into how to leverage the AI in general, I wanted to cover prompting framework. I hear a lot of people say that, okay, I use ChatGPT and it's really stupid at a certain point. It starts like getting too creative or trying to be extra helpful and not stick to what I need. You probably also have some experience where you're trying to give a prompt and it's giving you like things are outdated, sometime biased, sometime not really what you need. So it's super important that to understand that there is a framework, and this is not the only one. Last time I presented this, somebody stopped me and said, "Oh, I have this 6-step framework," and I'm like, "Yes, there are so many frameworks that you can adopt." But the most important thing is that you're not chatting with the Gen AI tools. You're not there to chat. You are there to get information that you're going to use, and then you're going to rely on. Some of the information might be crucial for your job interview or job search. So you don't want to just like take it as it is. So this four-step framework has assigning the role to the whatever tool. And I would like to ask our audience what tools you're using the most. Are you using multiple tools at the same time, or what's your favorite? A lot of people are in the chat GBT space and they have that paid license. Some Claude, if they're doing a lot of code, and especially if they're like to optimize and have a better tone, if they're doing a lot of content generation. Some are in Gemini, and I'd like to know, like Gorg. I don't know. I'd like to know what tools everybody's using. But very important to assign and start your prompt by assigning a role. To set the context. Example, you are a career coach specializing in AI and the future of work, for example, or you are an engineering manager hiring for a junior role. So we're given the context and assigning a role to the Gen AI tool. Then what do we want to achieve basically? We want to define the task, define clearly what you want it to do. Is this okay? I'd like for you to help me draft a career development plan or help me review my LinkedIn profile. So you go download your LinkedIn profile in a PDF and feed it to Claude or ChatGPT and say, okay, you are the career advisor, career coach, and I want you to review my resume as it is today. And then what do you like the format? This is kind of like one of my favorites. Like, how do you want to format the answer? Do you want it like, if you don't specify, usually it's going to be obviously a paragraph and a text. But what I like to do a lot of the time, just because I'm a more of a visual person, I'd like it to be in a list or in a table, because that kind of like helps me understand better, or maybe a chart or maybe a graph, or maybe I want this to be a PDF or a doc that I can download. So really specifying the format is gonna help you better digest the information, and also having it that a response like clearly defined. Now, one very important step is to challenge. And what this really is, uh, the step is for, is basically making sure that the resources that the Gen AI tool used are up to date. So, for example, if you're doing a research or you're doing things that are related to medical development or a research, you want to make sure that you're making sure that, okay, this is focused only on things that are has been published in the last 2 years. Don't give me anything from 2018 or 2019, because that's not relevant. Or are you sure? The challenge is make sure you are pulling up data from MENA region and um, North America, for example. So kind of like challenging the tool to make sure where do you want it to focus, or things that not to reference. For example, here, focus only on free tools that can be accessed in Tunisia. For example, this is like, if you're give me, for example, if you want to like work on certification, and you want links for cert prep websites, I want to say only pull up the links for websites that offer free cert prep for students. That way, like kind of like focusing your search and not giving you like, oh, all these universities are offering free courses, but some of them you need to pay, or they might not even being accessed in the country where you live. um, Abir, are we good? Do you have any questions around the framework of prompting, prompt engineering? It has a lot of cool names these days.
No, I'm seeing in the chat a lot of people answered the tools that shared the tools that they are using. A lot of people mentioning Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, Perplexity for research, Gemini for heavy content presentation deck, Grok and Claude for accurate, less delusional answer.
Yeah.
So it seems the most ones are Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot, and Perplexity for different. It would be great if you can share how do you use these, probably in the next slides, probably if you have it, but how do you use these and differentiate, like the example of Perplexity for research and Claude for coding and something like that.
Yeah, I'll see what we can share here that things are relevant to this presentation, but not only the framework that matters, but also how you want to interact with these tools. And one thing that I have been really doing these days is role play. So again, the one thing that I want, if there's one thing I want the audience today to leave with, is you are not chatting with these tools. This is not a chat. You need to focus. You need to get the information you need to get in the format you want, and as much accurate as possible. And a lot of the time, what I started to do also these days is ask ChatGPT or Claude, give me a prompt template. Give me your best prompt for me to achieve this goal. And it will give me the prompt, and I'll take it from ChatGPT, take it to Claude, and from Claude take it to Gemini, and then take the answer and say, this is what I came up with. Challenge it. Do you see any gaps? So it's really like you have to be focused on using as many tools and testing as many tools as possible for your specific goal. So having that clarity of what we want to do is very important. Now in this section, we're trying to do a resume review prompt. You are a recruiter in tag, review my resume text, and provide feedback in 3 sections. I love this. Strengths, weaknesses, and suggestion. Focus on improving it for this job title. And the last step is keep your feedback concise and tailored to someone with only 2 years or 1 year of experience. And this is very important because a lot of people are using. It's interesting. Yesterday, I met somebody. He works with Google Cloud, and he's like, in the last 4 hours, I did vibe coding, and I finished this app and it's ready to go. And I gave it the same task to my engineer. He took a week. He did almost exactly the same result, but it took him a week. And maybe he got there at 80%. And the discussion was that, yes, everybody's going to use the AI tools, Replit, Claude coding, or any of those tools, but the really difference is that how are you using them? Are you using them to maximize your impact, to be more accurate? It takes a lot of practice and foundational knowledge, and you really have to be focused and being sharp and being leveraging that creativity, but also the focus on the result a lot. When we're talking about resume reviews, and I would love to see if there is anybody who would like to share any stories around how they're using for resume reviews, and if there are anything that are not accurate or things that are not relevant. One thing to mention here when we're doing resume reviews, for myself, for example, I'm gonna see if I switch. Do you see my ChatGPT right now?
No, only the Canva presentation.
Okay, so let's see if I can stop sharing. Okay, let's see. Go back and share. I want to share like my whole window, but it's gonna ask me to exit and come back, which I don't want to do. Okay, so Chrome tab, I can do that. A window to share. Yeah, restart Chrome. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's stick to this. Probably gonna have to make this work. Chrome tab. Okay, this is Gemini, for example, here. You chat. We're gonna use. Okay. Let's say you are a recruiter for a junior role at Meta, and you are looking for fresh grad with interesting projects. What do you expect to see in resumes of the top 10 candidates? And this information is super important. I've been talking to a lot of recruiters lately in different programs, and also as I'm interviewing for another role. A lot of the recruiters are saying we're overwhelmed with the number of candidates that are applying. Our goal is to pull the top 10 candidate, share it with the the recruiting manager, and then the goal for the recruiting manager is to pick 3 top candidates, and those are the ones that are going to go through the process and talking to the team and eventually having one selected. So keep that in mind. You want to be top 10 in the first phase and top 3 in the second phase. So what we're going to do here, you are a recruiter for a junior role at Meta. You're looking for, let's specify, okay, data engineer, junior role, data engineer, near at Meta, and you're looking for fresh graduate with interesting projects. What do you expect to see in in the resume of the top 10 candidates? Okay. So it's given me this in this format, which I don't know if everybody's like me, but I just I don't do well like just like reading through like paragraphs. So I'm like, formatted in a table so I can read it better. And this is the step where I was like, okay, the format is important. How do you want to read it so you're more efficient? Okay, so here is what, this is much better. I don't know about everybody. It's just like, I like the table format so much. Core programming in SQL, advanced SQL, big data ecosystem, architecture modeling, cloud ops, impact quality, and you can even export, create based on this table, create, add a column for my current skills and one column for what I need to do. And this is something that, based on my experience as an engineering manager and also in CRM, a lot of the time when you're looking for some skills, I want to know where my team is right now and what do they need to do to get to that level and to be like that perfect score for the skills I'm looking for, what I need to do to get there. So here is the table updated. Okay, my current skills, and this is a sheet that you're gonna export and work on it. As you're working on your profile, this is kind of important. Now I can take it even further. Say, okay, ask me, and this is a role play that I was talking about earlier. Ask me questions to assess, ask me questions one by one, because I want this to be a role play, one by one, to assess my skill set and my experience. Okay, so we're gonna do, okay, question 1, core programming SQL. On a scale 1 to 5, how would you rate your proficiency in Python for data manipulation? This is so good. Like you see, like how we were going in depth. We're not just giving it our resume. Oh, give me like how I'm doing. It's more of like, I'm really want to focus on my resume and I want to build it, but I'm building it in a smart way. I'm going to get the best out of the AI tools. And you can describe the most complex SQL query you've written, specifically mentioning if it would include function, CTEs, or stored procedure. Okay, since I don't know the answer to this, give me an example of a great answer. This is kind of like not necessarily what you will be doing, but also you can do this to figure out where how you should be answering those questions and kind of like getting that practice. I would rate my Python 4 out of 5. I can build robust reusable classes and functions, common table expressions, windows. What is a great answer? This is good. Specific jargon shows application, like where and how you use it, connect to the ecosystem. So these are things that as you're trying to work on your resume, things you could be doing. In Gemini here, for example, now I want a template for a master prompt that I can use to review my resume and enhance it for the data engineer role at top unicorn startups or FANG companies. So now it's going to give me this prompt that can actually take it and paste it in ChatGPT or Claude. Technical skills, a task, critique my project specifically for the following weaknesses which are common for junior candidates. So this is kind of like, I did all this work in Gemini. What I want to go back to my presentation, but also the next example, I'm going to show you a little bit of more. Yes, I think I saw that somebody's asking if I can share those prompts. Yes, Sabir, if you have like a Google Drive or a folder, and I can add some of those prompts for the audience later on. And also, like, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions even past this session. I'm gonna go back to share my presentation, and next example, I'll use ChatGPT and share how I'm using it, especially for interview prep, because that's kind of like something I'm working on like constantly. And as like these AI tools are progressing and giving us like a more enhanced experience, I want to maximize it and use it to the best and be one of the people who are using it the best. I'm gonna share my presentation again. Okay, so interview prep. Okay, so one other thing that we can do is basically LinkedIn profile enhancement. And this is like an example of a prompt. And again, I'll be sharing the prompts. You are a LinkedIn branding expert. Rewrite my headline and about section to stand out for a role. Provide 2 headline options and 1 summary. And then make it stand out to international recruiters while still being relevant to opportunities in Tunisia, for example. This session was for my audience in Tunisia last time, but I probably we have a more like a diverse audience, or probably most of them are North America this time, Habir, right?
That's right.
Mostly, yeah, mostly.
Yeah. So, for example, if this is kind of like a challenge that is relevant. I'm just giving it a context, but also you can use either geo specification, but also like make it stand out for a startup versus a big corporate. Because also I had some conversations recently with head of recruitment at one of the like most advanced company that are working on, trying to remember, like satellites and like the intersection of satellites and I have to remember what they do. Data storage and like a data cloud. And he's like, I asked him like, look at my profile, and he's like, you have a background with large experience with large corporates. And sometimes startups, they do not prefer people with experience in large corporates because startups are run differently. They need different skill sets. And I told him, you're right. I have my husband, he has more experience in startups, and he was at Uber for 7 years. And he's getting, even though, like, I'm getting to telling you the story because me and my husband are kind of like in the same industry, and he's also in Martech, and he's getting pinged about interesting roles to me, but I am not being reached out to. And he's like, yeah, that's totally normal. If people would do, like, for example, he worked at Uber. If DoorDash would like to look for a Martech manager, senior like operation manager, they will look for people with filters like previously worked at Uber or Shopify or things like that. While because my profile is mostly in large corporates, Microsoft and eBay and Salesforce and Expedia, those are like different team structures, different dynamic, different type of like skill sets. And he is like, it's totally normal to expect that. But if you are past to having interviews, you need to shift your mindset. And here, what I'm trying to, because I know that's a gap. If I'm applying for a startup, I want to challenge the Gen AI tool and say, make it stand out to recruiters at startups, maybe, and kind of like give me that edge. Like, what are they looking for? Maybe I need to add in one of the description, highlight that I led a small team, like with a startup mindset. I changed a little bit of my LinkedIn summary to say I work on large projects at large companies, but also have that startup mindset or things like that. So these are things that are important to keep in mind, to not just like, oh, my LinkedIn is good, like I'm posting, everything is there basically. But when you're thinking about the recruiters, you want to stand out to the people and think, what are they looking for? So one of the things that you can do is basically challenge ChatGPT or Claude, and say, okay, I want that edge for this specific. It could be even like sector. If you want to be like in a specific sector, semiconductor industry or medical industry, I want you to review my resume, my LinkedIn profile, and say, what can I do to be relevant and to be attractive for a specific industry? Maybe it will advise you to, okay, you can write article how to apply data engineering or data analytics or AI for biotechnology, or share some interesting like recent development that are specific to that industry. And basically start to think like, okay, it's not really like when you're looking for a job and when you want to be desirable and top 10 candidates, you want to be that candidate who's relevant to the job that they're hiring for the location that they're hiring for, and for the skill sets that they're looking for. So think about it in a different way. So that's why here the Gen AI tools are amazing, because they can help you by thinking like this persona, the persona of the recruiter in that specific industry for that specific role, with amazing like expertise. And it could be your coach and your advisor to make your LinkedIn profile stand out. I want to move to the interview prep. This is I'm a big fan of the leveraging AI for interview preparation, because if you made it to interviews, it's a huge step. You know that you're top 10. Just like keep that in mind. You're getting an interview, the recruiter called you and say, okay, let's have that 30 minutes chat to just like make sure you're a good fit and you're still available and everything is like checks out. If that happened and they're like, okay, you're going to be talking to the hiring manager, you are top 10, one of the best profiles that they saw, because they're not wasting their times. In a lot of the jobs right now, you'll see like 100 applicant, more than 100 people clicked, more than 100 people applied, and it's really overwhelming for recruiters, but also overwhelming for hiring managers. I'm a hiring manager myself, and when I have 3 or 4 candidates to interview and get through the process, it takes up so much time and energy to review and then prepare, and having like meetings to kind of like discuss where things are and scoring the candidates. It takes a lot of time. So if you are in and if you got an interview, you are definitely have most of what they're looking for, and this is basically to see and like dig deeper in in your experience and what you know and what you can bring to the company, and look for that cultural alignment and things like that. So an example here: you're an HR professional of a prompt. Prepare me for a job interview by asking questions one at a time. Again, like here I'm mentioning the role play, because then that gives you more time to think about the answer rather than just like not being engaged. Again, we're not chatting here. We're using the AI to get ready for the interview. Increasingly difficult. After each answer, give me feedback on how I could improve. Include at least one curveball question to test creativity and stress management. This is one of the challenges that you can, one of the challenges that you can add, but you can also like add a different challenge. And I would love to hear also the audience and how are you using it for interview prep and if they're using it or not. I am gonna switch my screen to pull up my interview prep folder that I have in ChatGPT. It's getting crazy. How many? Because I've been like interviewing a lot in the last 3 months. And one of the things that I've been discussing with some of the. Okay, Abir, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I received a question as well, and I think it's really interesting while you transition into the AI tool. A question: when prepping for an interview and you asking the AI to help you go through the interview question probably and play the role of an interviewer or a recruiter. Before that, is there steps and preparation that you need to do, like feeding the AI your resume, and what kind of information it's really important to give for optimum result?
Obviously, for optimal result and for you to be efficient, you have to give it the data it needs. As you're using a ChatGPT, for me specifically, I use ChatGPT a lot. It has my LinkedIn data. It has a folder where I'm creating articles. So it knows my expertise and the things I'm interested in. It has my resume, the cover letters I'm creating. So it has all these details. But the one thing that you need to keep in mind is that, okay, you're feeding it all this for the purpose of what? And here, let me just give you 2 approaches, because I used to have a custom GPT where I'm telling it, okay, you're my career advisor. Here is my resume. Here's everything you need to know about me. And just like dumping all that knowledge in there, kind of giving it context and making sure it's not bringing any data from anywhere. This is it, and this is the source of truth. I use the custom GPT. And that's where I am leveraging and asking it questions. But also, what I found more helpful is having a project. And when that project feature came handy in ChatGPT, it became like a custom GPT, but also it has, for me, it has a structure, and every job that I'm interviewing for, I am actually have a separate conversation with the chat. So throughout my job search, it has really good understanding of the type of roles I am looking for. I apologize. Make sure I am focused. Do not disturb. Apologize for that. So using the folder structure and the projects in ChatGPT, and for every single role that I am interested in and I'm applying for, it has a separate conversation. And at the one point, I say, okay, what are, because I was talking to a recruiter actually in Dubai, and they asked me, what are the 3 roles you're interested in? So I'm like, okay, let me go to ChatGPT and ask it, what are the top, like, because there is a pattern. Obviously, I'm interviewing for all these roles that are super interesting and also matching my profile. Give me the top 5 job titles that I applied for, and what are the patterns. And then I asked it, okay, I'm given a pitch to a recruiter. I want a short, like 2 sentences, what I'm about, 3 interesting projects I worked on, and the perfect roles that I'm interested in, the top three roles, top 3 projects I delivered and I'm proud of, and a summary of my skill sets and my experience. And like, as you're talking to people, talking to recruiter, the more you document, the better. One thing that I'm doing with every job where I'm actually interviewing is getting, like, as I'm talking to the recruiter first, then I'm like, okay, here is the job. I got a recruiter call. He asked me these 3 questions, and I'm just feeding it in that same conversation. And then I'm going to show you, because this actually like, I can share my screen and you can all see what I'm talking about. Actually, okay, I have ChatGPT pulled up. Share. Okay. Obviously, I have a lot going on in ChatGPT, but here the project sections is where I'm keeping things organized, but also giving the ChatGPT like more an opportunity to be more helpful to me. Obviously, I have interview prep. This is the most important folder. And as you can see here, I'm just like, so many roles that I interviewed for, and basically for every role, I have a separate chat. For example, this is a growth engineer lead. Let me pull up something else. Okay, marketing automation lead. This is a consultant role. Okay, let me pick one. Okay. This is actually a good role at Charles Schwab. I was interviewing for, obviously, if you go to the top. Okay. So this is kind of like, I asked what to expect for the interview. Oh, this is actually what the recruiter sent me. They're like, okay, these are all the instructions, prepare, learn about the company. Here is our hiring process. And it recommended the 60-second value pitch. And I did nothing here. It's just like, this is a new chat, so I'm not giving it anything new, but it already knows everything. In the interview prep notes, they said they're going to do star stories. So, okay. Here are projects that I delivered, and here is how I can talk about them in the STAR method. Global CRM teams had inconsistent modules, so time to market. This is the situation, standardize and accelerate build. And then this is the result, cut build time dramatically, improved accessibility and consistency. And here it's like, it's referencing specific things. Now, really, like it's going specifically to that role in those interview prep. Now here I'm like, okay, for this star, it was like more of a list. I want it in a script because I'm going to be talking. How can I talk naturally and talk about it? So kind of like it's more of a paragraph. This is the reverse of what I was doing earlier. Trying to see like what was the next prompt because I was okay. Then we're doing more of the star because I figured that's the most interesting like interview thing that I'm going to be go through. Okay, so this role has AI innovation. I was like, okay, I think I'm expecting how I'm going to be using AI in marketing operations. So I want a paragraph about my approach and the opportunity I see in the AI space as a leader. Currently, very focused on studying Gen AI application, orchestration tools, architecture, SMFMC, Agent Force. I gave it a little bit more context of what I'm doing right now and how I can um, answer a question about my approach. So it gave me more details in a paragraph based on what I wanted earlier. But here said, okay, if you wanted the star one pager, I can give you that. But I moved on and said, okay, I want some questions for the recruiter. And it gave me some questions in a list, and that's my preferred method. And it's asking me if I should prioritize it. Okay, now here is what I wanted to share with you. Chat with a recruiter. So this is what happened. He said there are several levels at Charles Schwab, senior manager role. This is a senior manager role. This is within, I'm not going to share the base bonus 15, the higher end 150, 15 days of vacation, sick time, hybrid, 4 days, Monday through Thursday in the office, 3 more interviews via Microsoft Teams. Midweek next week, hear back from her. This is a reporting to a director. He's in Colorado office. I would have 3 colleagues. They're all senior managers. So if you're following here, I'm feeding it even details and what's happening in the interview call. Okay, so key takeaways. This is for me to come back to when, because sometimes like you have a call and they're like, okay, you're mixing up job interviews, who's offered what and what's what. So I'm definitely like getting all that documented. Here, meeting with hiring manager today. What should I focus as a hiring manager for this role? What would be looking to hear? Again, not super structured framework, but I'm telling it like if you are the hiring manager for this role, what are you looking to hear? Okay, so I can solve problems and make your team stronger. What I focus on: team leadership and collaboration, governance, business impact metrics, and it's reminding me to frame it star format, and it's kind of like guiding me through this. Okay, so it's giving me an interview cheat sheet that I printed. Kind of like reminding me how I should kind of like lead. And then like I had the manager call, and this is I'm also like documenting what he said and what he's looking for. So I'm ready for the next interview too. He sees opportunities as a manager in AI space in content creation as well as customer journey segmentation. This is the goal is mid-October offer. So I'm just like documenting my whole experience and having the ChatGPT help me. Now, this is specific for this role, but if I go to a different role, it's really different. And a lot of the time I would start by putting the job description for specific roles. So it kind of like guides me and we do that role play. Also, I ask it to help me with cover letter drafts. McAfee leadership interview. Okay, so I'm kind of like also documenting all the interviews and all the details that they share with me. So as you can see here, it's not really a one shot, or you don't think about it as, okay, I'm gonna start a new chat and just like having it help me with my resume today. This is not it. If you are interviewing and in the market and you want to nail and you want to improve, like from a lot of the time they'll tell you, okay, if you're not learning anything, if you're not getting the job, at least you're learning. Are you really learning? Are you really like progressing? So that's kind of a question. For me, my goal is to get the job, but also and identify gaps. And this is something I'll be covering later. Abir, do you have another question?
Yeah, on the last part that you briefly mentioned about the cover letter,
Mhm.
and especially this one is really important for early grads
Yeah,
who doesn't have much of experience. And we noticed that a lot of people use AI for cover letter that makes it so generic and probably AI written.
yeah,
Can you share some tips on how to avoid like or crafting a good cover letter using AI?
yeah, totally. So cover letter is basically something that the recruiter doesn't want to see, something that is not in your resume already. So the resume has a lot of information. Your LinkedIn profile has a lot of information. If you're writing articles and you're in Medium or Substack, that has also like tells a lot about you. But what you want to make sure in the cover letter, and I never write more than two like short paragraphs. This is kind of like, I'm excited about this role because I believe it matches my skill sets and my I where I want to go. I want to really get experience in this industry or have exposure to this interesting product. If you're, for example, at Google or at Meta, I'm interested in this specific product and I see myself like can contribute to the success of this team. If given the chance to interview, I would love to talk about the projects that I built and that can be super relevant to this role. So it's really like that cover letter. You're not going to go reiterate what the resume said. It's more like personal. And I see here um, you have Ramchandra. You have
Yeah, yeah. So the interesting question which comes to my mind, right? Like
yeah,
everybody is using AI now.
yeah,
Everybody is master.
yeah,
For a same role, there are 10 different experienced resources applying for.
yeah.
So as a recruiter, how you will select best out of those 10 who are already like really great?
I want to hear like a story that resonates with me. I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, I'm expert in Python and this is really interesting to me, and this is good opportunity for me to work on." I want to see a personal story. For me, for example, and this is also like a branding, if like a wider conversation. If you want to stand out today, it's not just about what you know and what you can learn and what certifications. It's about your really personal story, and you want to be intentional. For example, for me, I love mentoring, and I have built so many mentoring programs. And when I send a cover letter, I always mention that I am awarded leader. I have a mentoring experience. I love supporting teams and helping them drive results. So it's my personal story. If there is like leadership aspects to the role, I would say, okay, I led an annual leadership conference or did this or did that, like from my own life and story, and bring it to that like one paragraph that I'm trying to sell my skills. I am not just another engineer who knows Python. I am somebody who's engaged. Say, for example, if somebody's engaged with IEEE, I love, for example, a lot of the time they'll ask you about leadership styles and stuff. So I love to lead with community in mind. I'm very involved with IEEE and this organization, that organization, and I led workshops at my kids' school about this specific topic that you're looking for. So obviously, and sometimes like a lot of the students, they don't have a story to tell, and it's an issue, and it's a gap. Like you have to have a story to tell, and how you're going to sell not only your skills but you as a human to the recruiter and to the companies. For example, if you're interviewing at Amazon, you have to bring a different side of you. Like it's different mindset, a different culture, they have a different values, so you're going to have to bring those values and see how that would resonate and be relevant to the role. It's really a challenge, and I meet a lot of people who are just like entering the job market right now, and they're like, we can't find that first role. Like, what do we do? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for people entering the market right now, but it's also a lot of work for people with 15 and 20 years experience. It's different challenges, and if you're not using AI, you're not going to get in. Guess why? Because recruiters are using AI and they're assuming you are. So if there is no match and their tools are not bringing you through, you're not getting through the filter, the AI filter, you're not going to have a chance. You're not even like looked at. So you want to make sure you're using AI to match your skills to that role, and you want to use it wisely, and you want to use it to bring your personal story and in an efficient way. And you're not going to be lying here. And if there are gaps, you want to make sure that you're addressing them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have more questions in the chat,
Okay.
but I just want to ask you if do you still have the presentation slide, or we can ask some of these.
It really was relevant. So what I want to, personal development plan. Basically, let me go through the last two slides so that way we covered everything, and then we can take questions.
Okay, sounds good.
My screen. Okay, let's go here. Okay, personal development plan. When we're thinking about the AI tools, even though you're not looking for a job right now, or you can use it for creating a growth plan for yourself. An example of a prompt: you're a career coach, create a 6-month career development plan for somebody in marketing field. Present it in a table with column, a goal, action, resource, timeline. Focus on free and affordable resources. Only suggest action I can do while working, studying full time with limited 2 hour per week. So you can see here, it's like I am giving my availability, my interest, how the duration of development plan, the format. And the good thing about the format is that it can also say, okay, do you want it in a Notion page format? Do you want it in a table? You can take it to Excel so you can track it, or you can even have one project for your development plan, and every time you achieve something or you get certificate or you finish a course, you go and update it. So it has that, it helps you in kind of like it grows within your it helps you grow. So this is one of the things that I had a feedback last time, and they said, oh, we never thought of having Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini help us with development plan. And this is something that I use a lot. And if I want to get better at something, I'm like, okay, give me, usually I don't do 6 months. I would do like a 1 month, and I have 1 hour every week, and assuming that's the hour that I'm driving my son to his soccer game. So I'm going to be listening to that in the car while driving. So I'm customizing it to my availability, to the format that I like. I want more like YouTube videos or podcasts rather than things are on the laptop. This is something that is really important, even for people not currently looking to switch jobs. The last one is career shift and skill gap analysis. And this is so important to a lot of people who are like feeling, okay, we're being replaced by AI. My role is not going to be relevant anymore. Don't worry. Like, the good thing is that you have to think about AI as a way of augmenting your skills, helping you shift, identify skill gap analysis, but also creating a development plan for you and help you prepare for interviews and enhance your profile or brand and review your resume. So it's going to be there with you to help you throughout this shift. And there's nothing we can do about this. Like, this, things are changing, things are moving fast, expectations are different. Everybody has to be has that AI literacy and know how to use those tools, and really like it's time for creativity. What do you want to do with it? Either for career growth or starting a business, starting a startup. It's really like it's really leveling the field. Now, here an example of a prompt. You're a career strategist with expertise in reskilling and upskilling based on my current role and career goals. For example, if you're a content creator and you used to, and it's not content creator, the role where you create content for brands, um, and you want to switch because honestly, like, AI is getting better and better and creating paragraphs and content for marketing or for brands. I want you to analyze the skills I already have and identify the gaps I need to fill to successfully shift into this industry. Provide recommendation for resources or learning paths to close these gaps. Suggest practical, low cost or free learning resources and focus on a realistic 6 month timeline for making progress. Again, I am sharing with AI what I really want to do, how it can help me, the time frame, my availability, my resources, and uh, it's gonna be there, and there will be opportunities. Yesterday, we met with somebody at Google Cloud. I think I mentioned earlier, and he said there is somebody who used to work at a fish market in Vancouver, Canada. And she's now on his team as success manager on Google Cloud products. I'm like, how did she make this shift? He's like, she has the skills. She is so organized. She made the transition, and it's just like such a big shift. And we were really asking, like, did she have the technical background? He's like, no, she did not have the technical. She learned it, but she had the right attitude, and she was super coachable, super organized. She had those, like, some skills are really important to the role. And yeah, that kind of like wraps up my presentation. I know we have some questions, feedback here, Abir or Ramachandra also.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yousra. Yeah, definitely the audience here has a lot of questions, and I was trying to capture them all. So I will go through them. I have 5 questions in total, and I hope we can go through them in the next 10 minutes. All right. So the first question from Sudarshan. When using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., for resume review, particularly, we are adding PII. I'm not sure what is that.
Yeah, personal identifiable information. Yeah, like
Okay.
private information. Yeah.
Okay, not just our info, but even that of our employers slash research advisors. Would masking those information with pseudonyms drop the quality of the response, or what other techniques would you suggest?
I honestly stopped trying to hide, like to to care about private information. Now with these tools and all the other tools, there is no way anybody cannot have access to your information. Website, like scrapping data from websites, it's all there. I mean, there is like a feature in ChatGPT, and I think it's the paid version, where you can ask it not to use your data for other purposes. But it's really like not if it doesn't have all the details, it might not help you the best, because this is kind of like it is that if you don't want to, for example, if you are using a free tool, for example, I want to say like DeepSeek or Claude, they're gonna capture your information. So sorry, I can't help, and I think it's too late.
Yeah, and to add to that, because it's part of the job search, and most of the jobs are public, like the details of jobs are available in public. So
Yeah.
masking who's the recruiter or like the hiring company, I don't think it's efficient because the information is out there already.
Yeah, no, it's again, like the more, if you want accurate responses, it needs data. It's
Mm,
that's how AI works.
yeah. All right. The next question is from Carmen on skill building and trying to bridge skill gaps while finding work as a new grad. What are your tips for using chatbots for building self-led curriculum? Does this also help when interfacing with other tools like LinkedIn Learning?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I have been all over the place, honestly. LinkedIn Learning has been super helpful, and I have really, I focus on the ones that are not very long. And honestly, I am customizing it to my lifestyle because, as I mentioned, I do have to drive 2 hours every weekend to a soccer game. So I have 2 hours. I can learn something during that time. So, and if I like it, if I like the content on LinkedIn Learning and the session was interesting, I would save it and go through the material again on my computer the following week. So that's something that I'm doing. Also, there are like between LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, and all the other tools, I felt it's helpful when I am working toward a certificate. So I'm kind of like pushing myself one step at a time to get through. And now, like Google has some of Gen AI tools, Gen AI certified like expert or something like that. That's the one that I'm taking right now. There's an AI and ethics certificates that I'm taking right now, and I'm like just doing like bite size information, also getting toward a certificate, so I know I'm getting somewhere. Also, it is very helpful for ChatGPT or Claude is to give you reasonable plan based on your current like situation. If you are a fresh grad, you obviously you have probably have like more time than me, probably have 2 hours a day to learn. And the way I think about it also, when I'm seeing like a role that I love, this is, oh, if I'm hired for this role, it's amazing. I take that role and the job description and go through it, and I'm like, okay, I am not there yet, but here are what's missing. And then I take those, like the gap, the things that are I need to work on, and I ask ChatGPT or Claude and say, how can I get closer to this role? Or give me an example of a project I can work on in the 2 weeks frame that I can deliver, and I can test my skills here. So when I'm interviewed again for this role or another role, I can talk about it. I'm like, okay, so it's really about looking at the perfect role. This is perfect. This is amazing. I can do this and I want this, but there's like two things they're asking for I don't have. How can I make them better? Public speaking, maybe I should need to go volunteer, because don't underestimate the power of giving back and volunteering your time. If there is like you can go and volunteer your skill set at your local I don't know, school, or even ask in the Facebook like community group, say, I want to volunteer and give my skills for a small business or things like that for the next 6 weeks. So you're building your profile, you're giving back, you're testing your skills, and you kind of like getting to know and network more people. So think about it always that way. This is the perfect job, and there are different ways how you can get there. Look for a mentor. One time, like there is recruiters reaching out to me from Meta for contract roles, and I'm not interested in a contract role. So, and I also don't know the experience. Did you actually get to learn and do interesting stuff if you are a contractor? So I went to LinkedIn, I filtered people who work at Meta but have contracts in their role. And I reached out to a lady, and she's doing very interesting work that is relevant to what I'm looking for. So she is most likely close to that team, the growth marketing team who was trying to hire me as a contract. And I reached out to LinkedIn. I said, I see that you're a contract, and I would love to hear from you and your experience as a contract. Are you really? And I wanted to know more. So kind of like using all these tools to get closer and also to be informed better about like specific things. But I also I know what I'm looking. I know what's the perfect role that I'm looking at Meta, but I don't have I don't have enough information to know what they're looking for. So I'm going about it like a different way. And this is how you need to think about it, really. Not just be chatting with ChatGPT all day and be there. It's really like thinking about it. Okay, people, community, volunteering, having a story together and getting closer to that role, the perfect role with the perfect story with a perfect skill set. You're gonna build it. You're gonna get closer and kind of like keep yourself motivated. I know a lot of people also use ChatGPT to keep you motivated while looking for a job. It's another thing that really is effective. I'm like, okay, I just got another rejection today. Let's do like a role play and how you think you can motivate me because I'm down. It probably will tell you, okay, so how many jobs did you interview for? What do you think you learned? So it's really like getting the best out of those tools and keeping motivated, keep going. I don't want to say it's like a friend or just it's not that, but it's really how you can use it to your advantage, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've done that. That's why I was like really cracking from the inside. Yeah, I was one day disappointed and I was like, this is how I feel. Kind of dump it on somebody who will not say anything back to you. Probably it will try to make you feel better. Yeah, we have another questions or a couple other questions from Muhammad Yusha. What's your perspective on how ATS systems handle transferable skills? For example, if a job description lists Power BI, but my experience is in Tableau, a human reviewer might see the similarity, but an ATS probably won't since it's programmed to look for exact keyword matches. How do you suggest candidates bridge that gap so their relevant skills aren't overlooked? Great question.
I would totally add both Tableau and Power BI, and maybe like things are you can say you can put it on your resume just so it goes through the filter. But also somewhere where you say familiar with other tools I'm familiar with. So you are have to be like in some extent familiar with other tools. For example, for me, I know Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I'm familiar with Marketo, HubSpot, and all the competitive tool, but I don't have the expertise is in this tool, but I'm familiar with all the other tools, so I'm not kind of like eliminating myself. So I would totally suggest you add it as well. If you're applying for a role that specifically mentioned that skill or that tool, you have to mention it. Otherwise, you're gonna be scored low.
Yeah. So you recommend matching the skills that are mentioned in the description and add them to the resume as well.
That's how it works. They're thinking you're doing it, so you better do it. so so it's really like they're if the recruiter has a 100 application, they're going to use the ATS or their like internal tools to filter top 10, top 15. There is nothing else they're going to be doing. They're not going to go through them one by one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and there is a lot of tools that actually help you. They try to imitate the ATS system. So basically, they can review your resume and give you a score and try to get it to 100. I'm currently doing an MBA at Illinois, and they gave me access to a tool that give me the score similar to the ATS. So I'm able to score myself based on those job descriptions and my resume as well.
That's
So if
awesome.
you, yeah, if you are a student, check if your university offer that. A lot of them does. If not, I think there is a lot of tools, and I guess the AI helps in that too.
Yeah, one of the projects that I built a month ago was a scorecard for me to match resumes with my perfect job. So it was just like, okay, flexibility, add +1, um, team management, add +1. So I built it, and I have like a small project in.
Is it available to public?
It's not there yet, so I gotta go back and do more vibe coding to adjust
Yeah.
it. But yeah, these are things that, and if you have time, build some apps. Right now, it's the opportunity. Build some apps, leverage your skill set, build the portfolio, have that GitHub portfolio ready or whatever like platform. Write articles. It's such a good time to be creative and show what you're capable of, and don't be shy and just like doing that, applying, getting rejected, applying and trying to get through it like through the same thing. Let's try to do something different and have it a goal. Okay, this week. And for me, for example, like 1 week I'll be doing like a lot of learning. The next week I'm like, I'm exhausted. This week I'm going to do something different. Maybe I'll write articles. The next week I'm going to be volunteering in person and going to the Austin Women in Tag, or the following week I'm doing something different. So it's like mentally you're
Mhm.
not like, okay, I'm just like keep doing what I'm doing. It's good to have a good a variety of things that helping you getting closer, but not too exhausting.
Yeah, and actually that takes us to a next another question, which probably you answered half of it.
Yeah.
For it says, can you use an example for an early grad or early career who might not have long working experience? How do they leverage project they done in the past when applying to a new role and help them stand out?
Okay. Yesterday, there is I went to an event, Austin Tech Week here in Austin. And this is one thing that you need to do. And you need to get out there and you go talk to people and see what's going on in the industry. So I went to the event and one guy was trying like to connect, and they're like, and he has on his badge looking for a job or something like that. He's a mechanical engineer. He has a master's. So he done what he needs to do. He went to university, graduated, he's ready, but he's not getting through in the job market. And he didn't approach me. I went to him and say, hi, like, how are you approaching your job search? He's like, well, I'm applying. Maybe I'll go back to school. And I was just like trying to telling him, I'm like, are you writing any articles? Are you building any projects? Are you looking at robotics now? Because mechanical engineers might not think about, okay, how can I get into different fields? Do you have a list of companies that are currently hiring for your role? He's like, no, I don't have that. So it's just like, um, and you can have ChatGPT ask you these questions, do the role play, and ask me questions that can help me get to closer to my landing in job as a fresh grad or early career. Are you building any projects? Do you have like mini projects? I wouldn't build like fully fledged project. Can I go volunteer locally? Pull up list of uh, small businesses within 5 miles radius where I can go and volunteer. Things like that. You really have to think about it differently. It's not about just like sending that resume and then waiting for the response. You are moving closer to your perfect role every day and having that intention. I have something to offer. I really have something to offer, and I want to show that and I want to talk about it. Because if you're building something, if you're meeting people, is it reflected in your LinkedIn? Is it like, are you really like getting closer to that role, or you're just sitting and sending your resume and waiting. I think it takes more energy, but luckily with AI, you have some idea where to start.
Right. Uh, well, thank you so much. That's all in terms of questions. And we have another workshop coming up at 1:30, so we are 6 minutes away from that. I was hoping to give like 5 minutes break. We're gonna use the same room here. So everyone who joined, feel free to stay, grab a snack or water or something or coffee and come back to us. I'll give you, Yousra, a minute to give us any last wisdom or feedback for us and encouragement for the people who are looking for a job. A lot of them are going to be participating at the career fair. We will also have a lot of workshops and presentation. It's a great opportunity for them to network and meet a lot of recruiters. We have 38 companies from the US coming in. A lot of internships are being offered, a lot full-time. So if you are early grad or experienced professional, you should be on October 30th. It's a full day. It's packed with sessions that also recruiters, and we are hoping we will be hearing a lot of good news after October 30th, hopefully. So over to you, Yousra, for any last remarks, and we'll stay for 5 minutes until the next one starts.
Awesome. No, the pleasure was mine to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks everybody for sticking around and listening to what I have to say about AI. I'm super excited about AI and the potential of what it can do. I want everybody to have that mindset. Don't be discouraged. Don't get scared. Get out there, try them, test them, get a response from ChatGPT, take it to Claude, take it to Gemini, challenge it, have fun with it. Good luck for everybody looking for a transition or their first job. I am on LinkedIn. I dropped my LinkedIn link there. Follow me, send me a message if you have any feedback about the session or you have any questions, please reach out to me. And enjoy your next session. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you, Yousra, as always. Great session.
Thanks.
And for everyone, the recording will be available. And a lot of people were interested in those slides. So if you can send them to me, I'll be happy to share them with the audience here as well. So our next session will be about salary negotiation. I guess did a series of workshop preparing them to how to interview and how to stand out, but it's really important about securing the bag. So yeah, so we will have Sandra Park speaking in about 4 minutes. Feel free to stay, feel free to drop off. Thank you. We really appreciate you, Yousra.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.